We will review the news. Paul Brown will come back to be joined by Kate Adie and John Caudwell. Joining us are John Caudwell, founded Phones for You, made a fortune, and then gives some of it away as a philanthropist. He switched support from the Conservatives to Labour for the first time at the 2024 general election. His current project is a building project, One Mayfair. Hello, John.
Good morning.
Do you have a garden?
I have a very big garden, yes, 5 or 6 acres. And
have you noticed bonkers things going on in it?
No, not at all. I mean, look, it's always a challenge for gardens. There's always too much water or too little water. And of course, the same applies to farmers, and the farmers have a really tough time with the climate.
John Caudwell, where would you like to begin your review this morning?
I think the Chancellor story, which is that she's now a Chancellor in name only, and this is in the Sunday Express, and they go on page 4 to say that she's a lame dunk Chancellor. Well, I have to agree with that, I'm afraid. The budget really was a very, very poor budget. It was not business friendly. And the simple fact is that if we are going to make Britain strong again, financially strong, so that the average working people of the country can have good wages and a good future, we need to get inward investment, and we need to attract inward investment as per our Caudwell Strong Britain report.
But I'm just thinking that you might be making news there because you're a very high-profile supporter who switched from the Conservatives to Labour, and you've just called the Chancellor a lame duck.
Yes. Well, look, I'm not a supporter of any party. I'm a supporter of what the right policies are. The only party that I could vote for in the last election was the Labour Party because 2 reasons. One was I thought they were the only people that could govern the country. And the second reason was they were going to be in power anyway, and I wanted to be able to influence them down the correct route. I have to say, Paddy, I've failed on that. I've had several meetings and I have failed. That budget was very bad for Britain. We need to attract inward investment. We need to be dynamic, and the Labour Party now need to make a radical change in order to grow Britain's economy. And I've given them a formula for that in Caudwell Strong Britain. I've told them what they need to do. And if they don't do it, they've got very little chance of winning the next election.
OK. So it says a news review. I think you've made some news there yourself.
I was at an event on Monday where Andy Burnham was, and I can tell you that without sort of betraying any confidences, he definitely wants to come back to Parliament. He's absolutely looking for a seat, and there's one coming up in Gorton and Denton potentially, which lots of people have their eye on as a potential Andy Burnham seat. And this is a fascinating dynamic, I think, that has parallels with the kind of Boris Johnson, Theresa May years. You know, a powerful mayor challenging a relatively uncharismatic Prime Minister. John?
Yeah, Paul said earlier on that he wasn't sure that, I'm not going to use my expression, Paul, which was yesterday's cold bacon, but he wasn't sure that Andy Burnham could come back and be the leader for various reasons. And we just debated and discussed this. But there is a point there that clearly, I mean, everything I know about Andy Burnham is very well respected, but clearly Nigel Farage is worried about him because he's threatened him and said, if you come back, we're going to throw everything at you.
And would you support him?
Oh, I don't know enough about him, to be honest.
Right, I'm going to stop asking you questions now. So I'm just going to ask you to do your reviewing. John Caudwell, the Sunday Mirror front page, will never give up on Ukraine.
Yeah, this is a continuation of Keir Starmer's great support for Ukraine. It's wonderful to see Yvette Cooper taking this stance because the simple fact is, from my point of view, I think we did nowhere near enough to support Ukraine for the last 3 years. It's emboldened Putin, and it's allowed him to now start thinking that NATO won't be fully supportive, and partly because of the US administration's confusion over this. And what do we see? We see drones going into Poland.
You are listening to the News Review on BH with Paul Brand of ITV News, John Caudwell, the businessman, and Kate Adie, the journalistic legend. Kate, allotments shrink and prices rise as councils face budget squeeze, says the Sunday Telegraph. OK, I'll go around the table, Kate. John?
Yeah, that's always a huge challenge, and especially with Greenbelt. And my grandmother had an allotment, and I used to spend a lot of time up there. And it was a quirky environment, and it does contribute, but we really, really need to drive the economy of Britain, and land is at a premium in our overpopulated country.